Feels like it's been so long, right? I'm gonna give people a minute because we really we did the head fake. We were supposed to start at 7. Shout to Assembly Member Stephanie Zinneman. She's been under the weather, so she had to cancel on us. So we didn't pop up at 7. And I know a lot of our crowd, they like to be on point at 7 o'clock, huh? So
I know, but they're in the building. We're lit.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us an hour late.
Because this one's gonna be very interesting. Jay, how you doing?
I'm great, man.
You good? You got the lumberjack, you got the red and black on.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? How was your weekend?
Weekend was great.
Good?
Yeah.
Good. Kai, how about you?
It was great. It snowed. I love a snow day.
It snowed down here?
Yeah, it snowed.
It was snowing in Albany, but it's just
it snowed. I love it. It was a snow day. I chilled with hubby. We did 14 miles this weekend.
Turn up.
Clocked in the miles.
I just got the guaranteed entry for my marathon in November.
Okay.
I thought about y'all. Y'all need to walk the marathon this year.
Okay, well, we're going to figure that out. I feel like I had something else to tell the folks.
Yeah, tell people. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, where were we? I don't even know.
Yeah, the sweater, the hoodie is lit. They're going to see the hoodie. You want to bring it out now?
No, I'm going to bring the hoodie out.
The hoodie is lit. The hoodie is lit.
I had to,
I had
to do it with the...
yeah, I got to get mine. So, we're about to get started. For me, the weekend was great. I was in Albany for Caucus Weekend. Shout out to all of our black legislators. Shout out to Tish James. They gave Tish James a round of applause everywhere she went because she just because she just prosecuted Trump. So it's like she'd be walking in the hallway and people was just clapping her up. Like everywhere she went, she got so much love and respect because she's really, really about that action, and we love that. Yeah, I ain't got much else to say. It was a slow weekend other than that. So we're going to get started right now. This is how I wanted to start this one off. When I was like 22 years old, a friend of mine lived across the street from me. He worked for Vivendi. At the time, they was doing Alizé, a couple of other spirits. But he was like, yo, I'm going to pay you $125 to come to Metronome and hand out drink tickets, right? And so for me, I may have been a little older than that. Maybe about 24, right? Maybe like 98, 99, around Club New York time. Club New York was really popping, right? Shout out to Tammy, shout out to Albie, shout out to Goldie,
Goldfinger,
right?
yes.
But so he's like, yo, I'm gonna give you $125. You go to Metronome and you just basically hand out drink tickets for Alizé. I'm like, bet to that. Like, I get to Metronome. He gives me drink tickets and I get lost in the crowd. I'm giving drink tickets to every chick. Like, it's not, I'm not professional at all about none of this shit, right? The reason why I brought that up is because we talk a lot on this pod about like the various streams of revenue and career paths that exist within the industry, what we call the industry, but really is the culture, right? And how for a lot of us, you know, sometimes it takes some awakening towards what a career path even looks like. 2 weeks ago, we had Kalia here. She's a stylist. And she kind of fell into being a stylist by being an intern. And then she was an intern for a very long time, but learned the game from that. And now 20 years later, she's blown, right? And so you and I, even off camera, was talking about this time thing, like doing this for 25, 30 years. But yeah, we ain't gonna talk about how long you've been doing it. But
she's been doing it since she was 2.
That's the thing, though, right? Like that was the thing. Now I wasn't great at brand, you know, what you call that, like brand sales. Like what do you call what my position was?
I mean,
ticket giver.
You were marketing the brand.
Right, marketing the brand. Right, I wasn't great at it. But everybody that saw me got drink tickets that night. People was drinking, right? So we won. Right, we won. Right, Alizé won that night. I'm going to read this sister's bio and then we're going to go into this pod. Her name is Aria Wright. She's a highly accomplished marketing executive with nearly 3 decades of experience in developing and activating unique consumer experiences for luxury brands at the intersection of entertainment, technology, and CPG. You'll tell me what that means later. She has a solid reputation for utilizing integrated marketing strategies to drive success for powerhouse brands such as NBC, Motown Records, Pernod Ricard, USA, BET Networks, CoverGirl, Moet Hennessy USA, and Camus Cognac. Aria began her journey at Temple University where she earned a BBA in marketing. Following her graduation, she relocated to Brooklyn to pursue a career in the entertainment industry, Throughout her career, Aria has held various leadership positions and has demonstrated her expertise in brand management and campaign development. I don't want to necessarily read all of it because we're going to get into some of it, but I want to let people know that you are the only African American woman in leadership role for the French-based Camus fifth generation, independently family-owned brand, and she aims to pave the way for more diversity and inclusion in the industry. I want to introduce to some and to present to others my sister Aria Wright. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
That's a mouthful. You've done a lifetime of work.
Oh yeah, definitely done a lifetime of work.
How you feeling? How was your weekend?
My weekend was actually amazing.
Mm.
I just thought about that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Talk.
yeah, we had a great event on Sunday watching the All-Star game.
Right.
And my partners, my promotions partners, the Block Association.
Shout out to Carlito and Zoe and the whole team.
Tammy
Right.
Ford.
Tammy, shout out to Tammy Ford.
IXP Events, June Garcia.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, indeed. Indeed.
So we had a great event this weekend and brought out some of the staples in the culture. Some of the staples in nightlife.
Right. I haven't been a chance to get to that space yet. It's called Clinton Hall.
Yes.
How's it? It looks nice though. It looks like
it's a beautiful venue. 2 levels, and it used to be called Suite 36. So a lot of people walked in and they're like, I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Nick Storm did one of the Justin's reunions there years back, and I've been there a few times actually. So it's just a great venue. A lot of people came out and were ready to party. We didn't even realize the game was going on, and I didn't realize the game was on until after it was over. And then, I was like, okay, wait, so who won? But great weekend.
I want us to do a cheers because you bought these beautiful.
Yes.
What do you call these? Goblets? What do you call these?
So this is a tulip glass.
A tulip glass.
But this is one of our gold chalice tulip glasses.
Cheers. Cheers to a great
Oh,
vibe.
that sounded nice.
It did, right? It got a good
that had
vibe.
a nice ring to it.
Now, before we get started, what are we drinking?
You got to drink
because
this,
oh yeah,
You got to
yeah.
Bad luck to cheers
right,
and
absolutely.
And look me in the eye.
And I'm always on that
There
with
you go.
people. So
There you go.
You set me straight. I want to talk about because I got confused because we drinking this straight, but then we also got this with the lemonade.
We got a Kai special.
Yeah, it's a Kai special.
It's called what is it called? A Simply Camus.
Camus.
I love it.
Camus.
I love it.
But I want you to talk briefly about we're drinking the VSOP.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
So this is the traditional VSOP bottle for Camus Cognac. So, let's take a step back. My job at Camus is the U.S. brand ambassador role. So I create brand affinity. So I go around to, restaurants, clubs, nightclubs, bars, lounges, and I introduce the product to them. I do a lot of trainings, I do a lot of tastings, but then outside of that, I also go for the consumer, and I try to create opportunities to sample them and get them to love the brand just as I do, because I love the brand.
Right.
So we, every cognac has a VS category, a VSOP category, an XO category. What we're drinking today is the VSOP.
Right.
So this bottle here is our limited edition 2023 bottle. So beautiful bottle designed by Brooklyn native Melissa Sutherland Moss, and she's an interdisciplinary artist.
This is beautiful.
Yes, so she does a lot of things in art and painting. She just really loves textures, tones.
Yeah.
And she created this this label based off of her understanding of how she grew up and the family ties. And she, once she got the brief from me about what Camus actually is, she said, you know what, this aligns with my core DNA. I love family, I love tradition. I was raised in a very closely knit family. Her auntie used to do dinner for everyone in the neighborhood and invite them over, every Sunday. So this was a depiction of what she remembers. People coming and, the food never ending, the bottle at the center of the table. So that's what we're trying to bring back to, to civilization with this creation of this beautiful thing, this bottle, that bottle. So I'm gonna talk
And
about
that's
that
a very black motif, right? This idea of dinner and family and drinking and vibe, right? And I want to really start at the beginning, but let's just touch on this for a second because Camus is a 5th generation French company.
Yes, 5 generations, family owned, independently owned and operated, run by Cyril Camus, who is the descendant of the original wine growers. The family is a family of wine growers.
Right.
The company was established in 1863 out of just being wine growers and selling their cognacs to other companies, you know, like Hennessy, Remy, etc. I love the ice maker in the back.
Right.
It reminds me. It reminds me I'm here.
Right. Drops.
It's either that or gunshot.
Right.
We're
these are much better.
you know. So, but you know, just definitely the family has passed on that tradition for 5 centuries and going into the 6th because the current president and CEO has 3 sons and they're now shareholders. So that's moving into the 6th generation. So it's a perfect example of family entrepreneurship, successful family entrepreneurship, still built on the same core values of passion, determination, just innovation and perfection because we just don't do mediocrity.
Right.
So this product is actually our lead product for this year, for last year, the VSOP. We lead with the VSOP because it's something for everyone. It really is the all-around cognac. Very smooth, very easy to drink. But this bottle is the limited edition bottle from 2023. It's actually the same product that's in this bottle.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my question though, as a black woman who has cut her teeth in the industry and has done basically everything, and we'll go through all of it, what is it about this company that drew you to it? And what is it about this company that feels right in terms of aligning it with the broader spectrum of our culture, of our hip hop cultures?
I love those questions. Okay. So I was brought into this company in 2021 by my dear friend, brother, Henrock.
Oh, Henrock. Shout to Henrock.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Henrock, I say Henrock, but Henry Polacco. I was brought in, my company at the time, when I was working independently, serviced the liquor community, the alcohol and the spirits community. And I was brought in to produce the very first limited edition bottle, and it was by an artist named Nick Lowe in Harlem, who was based in Harlem. I guess after I produced that, they liked me, so they asked me to come back and produce some Black History Month content, and then the following month, Women's History Month content. And then I went to do something totally different. Shout out to my girl Elena Long for bringing me into another situation where I was working with a few other brands. But at the time I was there, I got a call from the national sales director, Daniel Tyndall, who said to me, I was sitting at home, had COVID, and I realized when they told me that they wanted to create this role, I was thinking, what have I done in the past year that made sense, and that connected with the African American consumer, because our core demo is African American male, female, 25 to 45,
right.
Affluent. Right. They're aspirational of those groups. They're the early adopters. They're people that have, they're multi-hyphenates. They've got a lot of things going on, but they also are content creators, so they're people that are very creative and very just, on top of on the cusp of whatever's next. So I got a call from Daniel and he said, look, I just think that everything you've done, connecting with that consumer, you had a hand in. So it was only right that I reached out to you to see if you wanted this role. And I said, well, actually, I'm doing something else. So.
You play hard to get on them. Right.
I'm doing something else. I'm not available right now. And he was like, so for how long? And I said, well, 6 months. I think Elena turned it into 8 months. So while she was on maternity leave. But then, the moment that I left there, I said, look, this is something I want to seriously consider because my experience with the brand was top notch. You know, I loved everything about the brand. First of all, I love the way it tastes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree.
Just quick snippet, I worked on Hennessy for 16 years. I worked on Martell Cognac for 7 years. I have worked across multiple brands, multiple different brands, but
Right.
Cognac was my category.
Right.
I love Cognac.
Right.
I love the history of Cognac. I love visiting the vineyards and seeing the production, the process. I love seeing how everyone has a role, you know, and you know, from the vineyard to the bottle making process, the bottling process. So I just loved everything about it. And I said, if I'm looking at going into another situation with a cognac, this is the one for me. You know, we share the same core values. You know, I family tradition, just the way that we interact, the way that we want to keep certain things sacred. I feel like the Camus family is all in on that.
That's dope. That's dope. And I agree with you when you talk about taste. It's a very clean cognac.
Yeah.
It's not heavy. It's not like, it's very clean. That's the best way that I can describe it. And I told you the other time you were here with Shara. Shout out to Shara
Shout out to
McHale
Shara.
when we did the 88 Hoop Dreams. I came back for like 5 of those passion fruit drinks because it mixes very well. It's a very good cognac. It's a
Yes.
very good cognac. Before we get started with everything, what's this? Tell me about this.
So this is our holy grail.
Yeah,
This
it's here. It's in the center.
Yes. So this is our XO. It's the XO Prestige Decanter that was released in June of 2023, last year. And it's a beautiful bottle, as you can see, made of crystal, gold enclosure. These lines that are in the bottle represent the 5 generations of the Camus family.
Wow,
So just
okay.
very well done. Another beautiful thing about this bottle is that it's refillable. So it's meant to sit at the center of the table so that you can bring beauty and refinement to the center of the dining experience.
Mm.
So if you're looking at this bottle, it's going to make you want to, you know, drink more.
Mhm.
You know, throughout dinner, it's supposed to evoke conversation. You know, we've lost the art of how was your day?
Mhm.
You know, how was school? How was work? We've lost the art of sitting down at a table on Sundays at a minimum because everybody's schedules are so busy. We've lost that art. So what Camus wants to do is to bring this beauty to the center of the table, the beauty of art and refinement to the center of the table. So this is the bottle. This is another little cute gadget here. This is our bottle glorifier. It lights up, and it's specifically made for the Camus XO Prestige Decanter.
Mhm. And just it reminds me about, and like at this stage, we have to be very intentional about making that time, right? Making
Yes.
sure the kids eat at the table with
Yes.
you, making sure you have conversation. And like that, this is very intentional. So
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yes, I love that bottle, and I love the XO mentally too.
All right, so let's dig in. Aria Wright, where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born in South Carolina, in
Okay.
Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Low country.
I was very, very, very country. Yes, very, very country.
Right. And then from South Carolina, you came up to Philly.
Yeah, my father passed away last July, as a matter of fact.
My
And
condolences.
yeah, thank you. So my father was a musician. He was an incredible musician. He played every single instrument known to mankind. He taught my sister and me how to play most of the instruments. I retained 0,
Right.
but my instrument was the clarinet.
The clarinet.
Yeah.
Did you notice when you talked about your pops, the ice drop?
You
Did
know
you
what?
hear it?
He's here.
He's here. The
He's here.
ancestors is here.
He's here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So your father was a musician. Your mom?
My mother was an educator. She was in the public school system in Philadelphia for 40 years plus.
See, I think that's this is not the first time I've come across this combination. I think having an educator for a mother and a creator for a father really nurtures creativity in children.
Yeah.
You have brothers and sisters?
Yes. I have an older sister who's an angel. My younger brother, who is by far one of the most incredible men I know.
Mm-hmm.
We're just great freaking kids.
Right. How'd you
You
grow
know?
up? Like, were you the type of kids that mom and dad be like, yo, perform, like come out and
Yeah.
Because I had to dance. My moms and pops would be like, "Yo, come out and dance." I used to have to dance for company.
Yeah. Like
and
we would have to put on full on recitals.
Yeah, I did that.
You know, my mother was the business person though.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I don't care what y'all just don't mess up. If whatever you mess up, clean it up.
Right.
My father was the one that's like, okay, it's music time. It's like always music time in the house.
Right.
But we were also a very religious family. You know, if we didn't go to church on Sunday, we couldn't do anything else.
Right. Baptist.
Like you could, well, no. Born into an AME church. I think Methodist, like African Methodist Episcopal.
Right.
But then when we moved to Philly, the church that I guess we all kind of belonged to that church. It was Lutheran church.
Lutheran. Okay.
Yeah, but it was only for convenience. It was around the corner.
It's close, right?
But I was very, very close with the pastor there before his untimely death. And I did everything in church. So going to church, going to Sunday school on Sunday wasn't a big deal for me because I had fun. I enjoyed it.
Right.
But we just grew up with those core family values. We sat down and we ate together. We went out together to eat, on the weekends. But all during the week, it was about education. It was about homework. It was about after school activity. I was I played sports. I ran track most of my life, pretty much, prior to all the other.
Cognac.
Prior to.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I played field hockey. I played a little bit of basketball and I played a little bit of softball. But I was All-American field hockey. I was a goalie. And my first year playing as a goalie, I got my tooth knocked out, so that really initiated me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
What type of child were you? Were you like? I know you're a master.
Let's take a drink. Let's take a drink.
Yeah.
Let's take a drink because.
Tell me about it. Were you like selling kids on shit when you was in like junior high school? Like, yo, listen, this paperclip is the best paperclip out. Like, was you that? Take this pen, give me 2 pens back. Like, did you have this moxie as a kid? Tell me what type of child you were.
So, as a kid, I just never found my niche in Philly. I felt like I was an outsider. I felt like I didn't belong. So. Was
that because of coming from the South?
I think it was coming from the South, but then also moving into a community. Like, you moved into a community where everyone knew each other on the block. Because that's what it was. It was like my block. I lived at 7451 North 21st Street in West Oak Lane in Philly.
Right.
And my block was between 74th and 75th. And that's all we knew. And they were very, they were not even interested in anyone on the next block or the block behind us. Like, we all knew each other. So I was kind of the new kid on the block, in my era. So it was a tough adjustment process for me. And I felt like I didn't belong there. So, I think it makes sense now for who I am. Because I've always been that person that just kind of creates my own path. I think I was misunderstood, but shout out to all of my friends from that block. I'm still, we still communicate to this day, and we call each other brother and sister. So it's amazing.
Close-knit community.
Yeah, it's a close-knit.
In high school, which table was you sitting at? Hold on, what's up, Kyle? What's up? You got your hand?
No, I never interrupt.
Raise your hand, right?
No, Dio Lily says on top of being the crazy middle child. So I think we need to dig up into that.
So they say that the second child is the wild child. You're the second one.
Let's take a drink.
No, we already took a drink. You can't use that on me all night. So you're the wild one, huh?
Amber got jokes too.
All right, so I wasn't the wild child per se, but I was just different. I think, like I said, I was misunderstood. Always genuine, I think. You never know who you are until people tell you who you are.
This is what I'm asking you. How did this exist in the outer world? This misunderstood Aria, was it in fashion? Like, were you special with your fashion? Was it in your attitude in school? Like, what was it that was
All the
misunderstood?
above. I mean, in fashion, I was misunderstood because my mother, became a single mother, putting 3 kids through Catholic school.
It's a thing.
All of us had extracurricular activities, so it was always something. My brother was in football, my sister was in track, and she, played the flute.
Right.
So it was always a recital or this or that. We were basically
And
latchkey
people
kids.
that don't have kids don't understand how much time consuming that
Oh
is.
my
Your kids have this practice, that practice. You spend an entire weekend just shuttling kids around.
Shuttling.
Right.
You're the cab.
You're the cab
and
the restaurant because they gotta eat.
Yep. And you're the bank.
Always.
It's like, Mom, we got a fundraiser.
Yeah,
I don't have no money. Mom, I got a recital. I don't have no money. So that was always what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was definitely creating my own style out of things that were, hand-me-downs. And I actually do recall someone from the block or one of the neighboring blocks calling me hand-me-down one time.
Yo, you should have punched that person.
I probably did.
Don't ever disrespect Aria with that shit.
I feel like she definitely
Right. You probably punched that person in the face.
I mean, and that builds character though, because right now I don't do hand-me-downs unless I'm intentionally doing hand-me-downs because I love a good thrift store. But I learned from that experience to create my own and to live it and love it.
Right.
So out of all of those things, you get the grit.
Right.
And you get the endurance, and you get you get the Teflon. Like I'm good. If I could survive that, I'm good.
Right.
So fashion, yes. The way that I talked was different. From the people on my block. The way that I thought was different. The things that I was into. I mean, look at this black girl playing field hockey.
Yeah, that's different.
Hello.
Right.
Who does that?
Right.
Well, who did that?
Field hockey's actually fun though.
Field hockey was fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But most blacks don't avail themselves.
Exactly. And they don't. So I think now people are more receptive to, taking on a sport or taking on a job or taking on anything that doesn't fit within their little box.
Yeah, but now it's different because we live in a digital era where everybody sees everything at all times.
Mm-hmm.
When we grew up, it was very analog. Like you were doing things that no one had thought to do, even in a school that had it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In high school, which table did you sit at? The cool table, the geeks, the cornballs, the bullies? Where were you at? Like, what table were you at?
I think I sat at the athletes table.
Okay, that's a good table.
I think I did. I can't remember for sure, but
that sounds like a good table for you.
Yeah, I mean because, excuse me, when you are in high school, you gravitate towards people that have a common interest,
that
right?
you're aligned with, absolutely.
So it's like I was around all the athletes. I like I said, I ran track all my life, all elementary through high school.
What races?
So I was a sprinter.
Right.
And notice how I said I was a sprinter.
Yeah.
But I did the 100, 200.
Sure.
I did the 400, 4 by 100 meter relay.
Right.
Excuse me. Made it to Penn relays. Didn't race.
Penn relays back in the day.
Yeah, didn't race. I was an alternate.
Right.
But definitely cool. But outside of that, I was class treasurer in my high school. I was prom queen. I was homecoming queen.
Right.
Shout out to Richard Sago, who was my partner right there. He used to play football at George Washington High School. That's actually where Kevin Hart went to school. He came after me.
George Washington?
Yeah, George Washington.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can only imagine I sat at the athletes table.
That's cool. You leave there and you go to Temple.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I leave there, I go to James Madison University.
James Madison University.
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Yeah, I've heard of James Madison.
Yeah. Great school.
Uh-huh.
Great school. Just not for me.
Right.
Just not for me. It was in the boondocks, number one. Number two, I, again, felt like I just didn't belong there. You had your New York crew, which now they're like my buddies.
Right.
You had your New York crew. You didn't really have too many people from Philly, but you had your Roanoke crew. One of my friends actually I saw a comment that he made on one of my Facebook posts the other day, And he was like, just imagine this, you know, same, because I think I posted a picture of my high school, high school
What, the graduation
picture. Yes,
right,
thank you.
right.
Sorry. So
You was about to say headshot.
yeah, I'm like, I'm so.
It was a headshot.
It was a headshot for yeah, it was a headshot for me too. I'm with you on that. Right.
You know, so I posted that, and I posted that because my page was hacked last month.
Facebook page.
My Instagram page was hacked.
Oh yes.
So I lost everything,
Ooh.
and I had to start over. If you're listening to Instagram, I need my page back.
Oh.
So I literally started over from zero.
Right.
So I started posting some old photos and, you know, just some things that, because the thing that people are really skeptical about now is clicking.
Yeah.
They don't want to click anything.
Yeah, I don't click.
They're like, is this you?
Yeah.
Prove to me it's you. AJ
Yeah.
Calloway, I'm shouting you out because he's a ridiculous person. When I sent him the message and I said, hey, my page was hacked, follow my new page. Prove to me that this is Aria Wright.
Right, exactly.
I was like, you know what? And I'm not going to say what he said, but he's ridiculous. So, I had to. He was like, okay, yes, you.
Right.
You know, so people are very, very skeptical.
Yeah.
So when I posted my high school headshot, aka graduation picture,
Right.
he said, you know, the gentleman said to me, just imagine this: you're going to JMU. And you meet someone who lived right around the corner from you, who you never met before.
Right.
You know, same year we graduated, all this. So, shout out to Cupid. You know, so that was really interesting because people will follow you, you know, throughout your journey, and they'll be interested in what you have to say and what you know. Like I think I post a lot of great stuff. You know, I post a lot of funny stuff.
I just followed you
make fun of
today. We wasn't even
Not
IG
before.
followers. I'm following you now.
Yeah.
So I'm down.
Yeah, well, you'll strap it.
Yeah.
It's a rock. It's a rock.
It's a ride. It's a ride. Bet.
It's a rock.
At this moment in your life,
Mm.
James Madison University in Hicktown, Virginia, you was in the sticks.
Mm-hmm. One year.
What did you want to be?
1 year. I just went there for 1 year. So
What did you want to be?
you know, I did not decide what I wanted to be until I maybe not even after I graduated, but I didn't decide what I wanted to be until I think maybe late 2000s.
Okay.
You know, and that was years after I graduated.
Right.
So I transferred.
Why did you
My
transfer?
story is the I don't know if my mom is watching. I'm gonna tell a little white lie. I didn't do too well at JMU.
There she go, that middle child.
Yeah, I didn't do too well.
Mhm.
So my mother said,
Jay, pass me that lemonade when you get
"Get back here. You're going to Temple."
Right. What was that GPA that first year?
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that.
1.1.
We're trying to keep this a
It had to
positive
be.
show.
It had to be
We're
a
keeping this a
violation.
positive show.
It had to be a violation for her to be like, come home. It had to be something like was nuts.
Listen.
1.4.
Listen, my mother.
What was you doing out there? Smoking weed?
No.
I was smoking weed.
Oh my
I'm just
goodness.
asking because I know what I was doing at Morgan when
No.
I got my 1.4.
No, I mean I was definitely indulging in, you know, different weird Mad Dog 2020
Oh,
moments.
definitely the MD 2020. The great flavor.
I was indulging in
Cisco,
Boone's Farm.
Boone's Farm. $2.14 at 7-Eleven. They're not ready for this conversation.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of that.
Right.
But I think mostly just not paying attention. You know, I would go to class and be doing whatever else. I don't know what the heck I was doing. I just didn't do anything the first year. It was horrible. And the problem was I was there on a scholarship.
Track?
Field hockey.
Oh, shit. You was nuts.
I was there on a scholarship. But, you know, that just kind of fell apart.
Do you think maturity-wise you were ready? This is
No.
interesting to me. Right,
No.
right. Because I could relate to that. Like, I feel like when I went to Morgan freshman year, I just wasn't ready for college. I was young. I was 17, right? But mentally I was young. And I was so used to being able to walk to school and like the whole, I lived in a bubble. So at Morgan, and it was a lot easier for me to just party and to get high and drunk. Like, so it was just a lot easier for me to do that. So that's what I did.
It's easy
Right.
because you find a crowd that appreciates you
Right.
for what you bring to the table.
And if you from up top, right, and you was from Philly, so you rock with up top dudes and James Madison.
Yeah.
Like if you from up top, that becomes your culture because you're even at. So we're probably age appropriate. I'm not gonna ask your age, but I feel like we're age
I'm gonna
appropriate.
tell you anyway.
That's fine. But we're age appropriate.
Yes.
You said you came before Kevin Hart. I
Okay, all right.
I carried the one. But what I'm saying is, like during that time, up top kids was so far ahead of down south kids that when you went to some place like you went to, your culture was way different than the Roanoke kids, than Portsmouth and Norfolk kids, way different. And so you kind of huddled in with your own.
Yeah, but you know what? I just realized when you said that, I went to school with a lot of privileged kids. You know, they were the daughters and sons of senators and congressmen and lawyers and entertainers and, you know, and doctors.
Right.
My mother was middle class, you know, like she was a teacher.
Right.
You know, my father was a struggling musician.
Right.
You know, I mean, he played with so many amazing people, but he was still a struggling musician.
Right.
So I came from bare bones. I came from humble meanings, and I definitely realized that. You know, I didn't realize it early on, but I realized it when I got to Philly.
So now you leave James Madison and you come to Temple, which is the unofficial HBCU.
Yes, it is.
Temple's
It
lit.
is.
Temple's lit. You come to Temple and tell me about that.
Temple was an amazing experience. I was actually president of the Black Student Union. I just remembered that. That's probably the first time I've said that in over years. But I remember, you know, organizing a protest on Broad Street.
Oh, you was one of those kids.
Oh yeah, I was definitely one of those kids. You know, fight the power. Like I
Right.
was whole. You know, that was whole me.
Right.
But I also was just the person that just enjoyed people. So back to your original question of like, how did I get here? I realized in that moment that I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to work with people. You know, so fast forward, people connector, all those things.
That's what you were good at.
I was great at that.
You was great at that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was great at finding we call them strays. We call them stragglers. We call them the misfits. I was great at calling, you know, wrangling them.
The stray dogs.
Yeah.
Bringing them home.
But they were all great people who had so much, you know, character and so much creativity and so many great ideas and, you know, and now that's transformed into people who are entrepreneurs.
Right.
You know, people who have reimagined themselves time and time again.
Right.
You know, from either being in the music industry to owning their own, you know, media companies, or just working as an executive in, you know, from being an intern. Like my first internship out of college was Uptown Records. So, you know, seeing where some of those my fellow interns were, and who my fellow interns were, and where they are now, and some of the people who were, you know, junior level executives there at that point, and seeing where they are now, leaps and bounds, night and day. You know, so I think that I'm great at finding that diamond in the rough, and then bringing them in here,
But that's the thing, though.
and carrying them on.
I want you to understand that this is something that isn't intangible. A lot of people, oh, what are you good at? I'm good at math, or I'm good at science, or I'm good at drawing. Very tangible things. But I can relate to what you're saying, because being good at social capital is different, because it's nuanced.
Yes.
Like being a good people person, being good at connecting people is something that people don't look at as a skill set. Because you know why? Because most people don't have it.
They don't have it.
So they don't understand the power in being a connector.
Absolutely.
But you did. Even that,
Absolutely.
you said it, by the way, you was like, protest with Fight the Power, got that, and then intern at Uptown. I'm carrying the one. I'm trying to tell you, I'm carrying the one. But what I'm saying is you did a lot in that space of social capital early, and you began to build your confidence as someone who is a people person.
Absolutely. I worked all throughout college.
Right.
So I had a full-time job when I worked at Temple. I worked at a nonprofit.
What was the name of the nonprofit?
Urban, gosh, I can't remember the name. It was Urban something. It was on. I remember it was on Market Street. I think it was like 315 Market Street or something, 375 Market Street or something like that in Philly. And I remember one of the lead people there was this woman named Ahada. I would love to reconnect with her because to me, she was like top notch, like luxury, elegance, commanded presence, walked in a room and was like, this is what it is. What do you want to do? And I loved that, you know, and so that's what kind of made me stay there for, you know, a couple of years. And then after that, I went to work in the, for actually one of the executives there privately. But I think, you know, just understanding where I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, you know, I was shaped by so many different people, you know, outside of my mom, one of my big role models, one of my biggest role models was my next door neighbor. Her name is Christine Graves. You know, she's like a surrogate mom, a bonus mom for me, you know, and she was always the life of the party. You know, she would host at her house, always in and out, people in and out. They were always family. Everyone called her Aunt Chris, you know, and I knew all of their family. Like, I knew more of their family than I did of mine. So it was always me taking on these personas, you know, and I realized, you know, my later years that this is where I got this from. This is where I got that from. And the older I got, the more I realized that I'm so much like my mom. And I'm becoming even more like my mom.
Right.
So, but it's an admirable thing.
Where was hip hop in all of this? Because we haven't spoken about that aspect. Where was hip hop in your life during these college years?
Hip hop was everywhere for me. I was one of those, listen to the radio, tape it on my recorder, press play and record at the same time. Run it back 4,500 times. I was one of those kids that my mom said, I hope you know your homework like you know those lyrics.
Those rap songs, right.
And I did it. So, but I am an original. When I say hip hop head, I'm an original hip hop head.
Now you come out of Philly, EST, Steady B, Cool C. Let me tell you something. To be in Brooklyn, like Funky Dividends.
Oh wow.
Steady B had a joint. Cool. These cats was like moving in New York.
Amazing.
They had their moment, is what I'm saying, in New York. Like obviously we love Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, but the real
Cool C, Steady B,
right?
Yes. Hilltop Hustle.
Hilltop Hustle.
Stop playing. Yeah.
It's real shit, right?
Schoolie D. Yep.
Schoolie D, right?
Yes. PSK. People don't even realize that.
PSK is making that cream. People always say, what the hell does that mean? Right.
P is for the people who don't understand.
That's Dano. Dano like that song. He's like, God, Dano like that PSK joint.
Listen, but another thing about me,
yeah,
I'm a lyricist.
Yeah.
Not creating my own.
I'm about to say you bust around.
No, I'm not going to drop a hot.
Okay.
I'm not going to drop a hot two. But I'm going to say that I do know the lyrics to every single song.
But I mean, girls used to write the lyrics down.
I wrote them down.
Yeah, I know.
I recited them. It was like I was studying hip hop.
Right.
So that's the essence of me. I'm a hip hop head.
You leave Temple and you move to Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Where you moved out of Brooklyn?
I moved. This is a funny story. So my uncle had a brownstone. It was a 94th and Lenox in the 90s. So
uptown.
Yeah. So I moved there, and he had a multi-unit brownstone. So he rented out the apartments in the building. Right. So I stayed on them. I think I stayed on the second floor initially, and then I moved to the first floor. And I stayed there, and I hated it. So I tried to redo it myself because, you know, it was an old house. It was very old. Yeah. You know, so I called myself doing DIYing it. You know, so I was in there spackling and trying to make it a home. Right. You know, but at the same time, it was like the roaches and the rats was like coming for me. I literally woke up one day and there was a roach right on my pillow. I was like,
that's
I
New York
gotta
City
go.
back then. Yeah.
I was like, I gotta go.
Right.
And it's not because he was dirty, but it was just the areas, you know. And I said, I can't do this. So I moved to 475 Washington Avenue. We used to call it Used to call it the Melrose.
Melrose Place. You lived in Melrose Place.
Yes.
Wow.
I
I
lived
as
in
soon as
Melrose
she
Place.
started laughing like that, I was like, I bet you she lived in Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Melrose Place.
I lived in Melrose Place. Oh wow! Shout out to DJ Chase. That's where I met Ebony Shears, and you know that's when I moved to 475 Washington. That's where I.
So
really
AJ
started
lived
to
across
sink
the
my
street
teeth.
from you at a while.
Who?
AJ Calloway lived across the
Get outta
street,
here.
closer to Fulton Street.
I didn't know that.
In the 90s. Ask him. He used to live across the street from Melrose Place, but closer to Fulton,
Wow.
where Bergen Bagels is now. Before it was like Pyramid Clothing, but he lived across the street. Ask him.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, the craziest thing is that our building used to have parties. You know, like it would be you jump from the 5th floor to the 4th floor to the 3rd floor, back to the 5th floor, just seeing what was in. It was always people on the stoop. Like it was just such an amazing community, you know, and we loved it. It was right around the corner from Biggie.
Yeah, I grew up. I live on Green in St. James.
Oh wow!
From that
right
community.
there,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
So I lived there, and I had a roommate. That was. See, I'm about to date myself too.
It's too late. You already dated yourself.
All right.
I already counted the one.
All right, fine. So that was when I don't even know how I met AZ, but AZ used to always be at my house, like always be in my apartment. Whenever he was like doing anything, he had just come out with his first album,
Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill, yeah, and you know he would just come and hang out there. So I would always just keep like, where you at? What are you doing? And you'd be there. So then he introduced me to Nas. Like he introduced me to Nas's music because he's like, this is my son. You know, that's how he used to talk back then. This is my son. My son about to come drop this album. You know, whatever. So I did just really date myself just now. So that was his first album, Nas Illmatic,
Right.
one of the most incredible albums ever. So it's crazy, the full circle. I ended up working with him however many years later on when I worked on Hennessy. But so I feel like that experience just kind of molded me because everyone was always around. People were always around.
Yo, my neighborhood in that time, the mid '90s to late '90s, was visceral culture. Like you would go to the pizza shop and Wesley Snipes would be getting pizza. You would see Guru at the like my barbershop, Ujama used to be on the corner.
Oh my God.
Block,
Yes.
right?
I remember that.
Khalil, who's and Boucher Wright's brother, used to own the barbershop.
Wow.
Yeah, you would have all types of people coming in and out. It was like getting culture like in the arm, like intravenously, right?
Yep.
It was you were in the epicenter.
You were it.
You were the culture, right? What were you doing at this time?
So I moved. Excuse me. I moved to Brooklyn to take a job at NBC News. My sister's ex-boyfriend, who lived in Crown Heights, Reggie Washington, lived on Washington Avenue, coincidentally. He used to work at NBC News, so he got me a job, and he was like, listen, it's not a glamorous job.
Right.
I was like, I don't care.
Right.
I just want to get out of Philly.
Right.
Because I felt like I was too big for Philly. You know, to be honest with you, at the time, because I feel like I was ahead of my time at Philly. I mean, now Philly's great. It's great. But at the time, I wanted to get out. So I said, I will take whatever. So I started working at what they used to call the Electronic Journalism Library, EJ Library. So this was like Dateline, logging in. I remember when Michael Jackson, passed away. Like we already had the footage, to document his life. So it was just exciting to see how they document people's lives. They got information on everybody. That's notable.
Everybody notable.
Yeah. So they'll be ready to put some stuff together and do your life in 2 seconds. As soon as something happens with you, they'll pull up something. Right. So that was a great experience. But then I was there for a few years. I was working like the afternoon shift, and then I started doing doubles. I worked the overnight shift just because I was like, oh, this is good money. Coming out of college making $80,000? Like working part-time.
Yeah, back then was
get out of here.
Right.
Give me that job. So I was like, I'm all in. But then I met someone who is my mentor, my best friend, like everything to me. A Sincere Thompson, like by far, like one of the most incredible people that walks the face of the earth. And I said to him, if you ever get an opportunity to hire someone, like here, hi, me.
Right.
So he went over to Motown because he was working at Polygram Records at the time. Went over to Motown and was like, hey, Aria, guess what? Got a job in Motown and I'm the vice president of promotions. And I was like, okay. He was like, I want you to come over and, work and figure it out. Like, let's figure it out. So I got a chance to work with, some of the greats, Andre Harrell, Chad Elliott, Sugar Dice Clay, some of these amazing producers, DJ Clark Kent. This is where I met all these guys, and I'm 22, off the bat coming in and meeting these people who are, incredible creatives, who are incredible musicians and producers. It was just such a surreal experience. And I said, this is what I want to do. I would actually, and for a while, maybe almost, 3-4 months, I kept my job at NBC doing the overnights because, of course, they ain't paying no money. But I kept my job at NBC because I couldn't go from making $80,000 part-time to making $27,000 full-time.
Right.
I was like, let's not be stupid here.
Right.
So, I said, I'll figure it out, right? Sincere gave me that flexibility because it was like I worked, I would say the overnight, I think I had to be there like 11 o'clock, midnight, something like that. And I would work from 12 to 8. And then I would go home, change, and then be at Motown at 10 o'clock. Not just on a 9 to 5, but at Motown, working during the day, and then promoting at night.
Right.
Because at the time, there were street teams, so I had to deploy the street teams. Shout out to Super Mario, like those guys, like back in the day when street teams were really, really out there on the street with picket signs and promoting your record. This was it, and I know remember when Puff came out with the Big Mac?
Yes.
Those kind of marketing tactics.
Yes. Yeah.
It was the Big Mac.
What was that? Howard Homecoming '94 when they did the homecoming show in the post office, the General Post Office.
Yeah.
That whole weekend was Big Mac weekend.
We got the picture right over
Yeah,
there.
and that shit was crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
So marketing tactics like that.
Right.
That was the tipping point for me because it was like, this is where I'm from. People really. And also the era of Andre Harrell creating opportunities for people, for producers, who made $250,000, for doing what they do. It's like, that's off the rip. Like, that's just your pay. That's not taking into consideration all the other stuff that you can grab from the shows and doing whatever. So, shout out to Andre Harrell for setting the precedent for that, for Black folks.
Andre Harrell's amazing.
Yeah.
So for you, you're kind of coming into your own using that connector skill set. But you're in promotions now.
Yeah. I do the most.
Tell me what the difference is, if there is one, between promotions and brand marketing.
Well, promotions is someone gives you something.
Right.
And they say, make this hot.
Right.
Marketing is, let me look at this product. Let me know everything about this product. Let me figure out, what about this signature speaks volumes? What about this artwork? How can I really parlay that into something else that makes sense and that will resonate with my audience?
Right.
So that's the difference.
Where does your work ethic come from?
My mother is a very hardworking person. She was a school teacher with 3 kids. I don't ever recall her like calling out or sitting at home or, but outside of being a school teacher, she also did taxes. So she would come home from teaching, doing her work plan, doing her planning for, you know, the students and whatnot, and then go to an office where she would do taxes. And so, like I said, we were latchkey kids, so we saw that, you know. And I'm a very insightful person. I didn't just take it on the surface. I didn't just say, well, mom ain't here, like, let me wild out. I did wild out, but, you know, I also kept that in my back pocket. It was like, you work hard and people respect you for what you bring to the table, and you use that.
Give me an example of when your work ethic and attitude put you in a position that your talent could not put you in.
Oh God, I got so many. I'm gonna just speak in broad strokes for this because, and we spoke a little bit about it before, but being in an industry that's considered entertainment and working, you know, from it as an intern to a promotions coordinator to a key account manager working on Hennessy, Tanqueray, Grand Marnier, Moet and Chandon, Dom Perignon, Akamari Rum, Johnny Walker Black. Those were my first brands. So understanding that when you are a person that has connections with people, when you've established connections with people and they like you and you do what you say you're going to do, they believe you, they will follow you, they will say, you know what is your next thing? If you're doing whatever your next thing is, I'm along with you on that. I'm coming with you.
Right.
So my gift has been to be able to, you know, galvanize these communities, create my own, you know, and it's a lot of work for sure, because you got to remember every little thing about people, and you got to think about those times when, you know, it's their birthday. Shout out to my best friend's birthday today, Marlo J. Marlo, that girl, LA. It's her birthday. She's 25 today.
Happy birthday. Happy 25th birthday. We carrying the one over here, though, so we know what's up. Look, tell me about your brand marketing expertise. Tell me what a brand marketer does. Like I told you, my man hit me. He gave me $1.25 to hand out drink tickets, but that's not really brand marketing.
Right.
Tell me about your work and what you have, like, a master in. Like, and I use that term deliberately because you've put in the time and the hours and the years and the months, and you are a master at this. So tell us about that.
I'm a master at people.
Right.
I'm a master at people.
Right.
I pay everyone attention. I pay and I respect whatever you bring to the table.
Right.
I'm gonna meet you where you are.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I'm not gonna switch. I'm not gonna be one person one day and another person the next day. I'm gonna be the same exact person that you saw all those years ago to this very day. And if you know my friends have been my friends since day one.
Right.
You know, so I'm a master of people. I'm a master of connecting people, and I'm a master of understanding what it is that motivates them. You know, and I had to do that, and especially, and I can you know, really hone it in on one particular period in my life. I created along with another one of my mentors, Kelly Walton, who was the brand manager for a Hennessy Cognac from the years, I want to say, like 2011 to 2013. I think it was 2013. But she was like, we were like this. We created the program for Team Hennessy. So it started in 5 markets, and I reached back. I did a little spin the block. I went back into the markets because, of course, being in the markets and knowing who's hot and what's happening and being integrated into, you know, the scene in each of those markets. Like, LA was my home, Chicago was my home, DC was my home, Philly, New York, Miami, you know, Detroit, like
major markets. You had roots in.
I had roots in them,
right? And
I reached back and I said, okay, you were hot with me, like you were. I know you.
She said, you were hot with me, right?
Who's the next guy?
Right.
You know, You know, we all know and love Kenny Burns. Kenny Burns worked with us at Motown. You know, he was definitely a staple there. You know, he pegged himself as the brand specialist, and now I think he rebranded himself just recently. But so just understanding who the hot person is, and then tapping into that and saying, I need to know who the next you is, or who do you ordain.
Right.
You know, so being able to go back into the market and say, I need a person that is the local influencer, the socialite, the celebrity, but I also need them to have business acumen. I need them to know how to work an Excel sheet. I need them to know how to do a PowerPoint presentation. And I need them to know how to talk to people. I need their relationships. I need to tap into that.
Right.
So created Team Hennessy, and it grew from 5 markets to, I think it was like 18 markets or something like that, and then morphed into a multicultural program. Excuse me. And so just being able to be at the cusp of that is a great example of a program, and creating a program that started in 2011 and that is still running and thriving and growing strong under, you know, Jasmine Allen, who is an incredible marketer at Moet Hennessy, and someone that I'm really, really, you know, super tuned into. I mean, everything is rooted in sales, obviously.
Right.
You know, you don't sell the product, you don't have a job, right?
Right.
So I'm the person that feeds the salespeople. You know, I create the energy around it. I create the 360, you know, degree, like, you know, the vibe, you know, if you will put it into modern terms now. So I create the vibe, and I make people really love the brand. I get them interested in it. I create a sampling opportunity for it. And with this product, it sells itself. Facts. You know, when people taste it, I've had account owners, you know, restaurant, club, bars, owners tell me that this is an amazing product.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, it doesn't outsell any other cognac within the category, so it's a sleeper.
But that's because of brand recognition. Like the Hennessy name is something that the layman is just going to go to if they want cognac. And that's what I'm trying to get at is for you and this particular product, what is the struggle with regard, because I like this better than Henny or Remy or Cavassier or Martel. Like, I love this cognac. It's the best one that and I'm not a brown liquor drinker. I'm a tequila guy, but I love this. So how is it? Yeah, get that. So how do we, not we, because I mean, you could give me drink tickets, right? right? Next time we out, give me some drink tickets. I got you. But what I'm saying is, how do you translate that? Like, look, let me educate you on the product. Let me give you a taste of the product. Now you retain that taste. And now, like I told you, when I saw you, I said, look, when you was here for the shower thing, I was killing the passion fruit because it was good.
Yeah.
Take me through the steps. How do you do that to get sales, to get people to understand that this product is worthy?
I love that. Yes. So my thing is continuity.
Right.
It's introduce the product in a way that is not obtrusive.
Right.
I don't want anyone to look at me and turn and spin the block and be like, I hate her and I don't ever want to see her
Here she
again.
come with that damn
Here
shit
she comes
again. Right.
I don't want to do that because I've got too much skin in the game. I got too many years. I don't need to work on a brand that's not going to do what it needs to do for the community. So creating those opportunities and those experiences, like that's my job. Like I create experiences for people and I make them really just have a connection with the product, but then also I create repetition. So I do the same types of events. You know, I work within the same group of people. You know, we have a few tentpole events that we do throughout the year, and I want to continue to do those because I want these people, you know, the audience to be the same or like-minded. You know, so as I continue to grow this brand and through this journey, I'll bring those people with me and the numbers will grow. You know, and then another cool thing is when I first started working with the brand in 2021, we were all on France's dime. So we didn't have a U.S. Website. We didn't have a U.S. social media page. We didn't have anything U.S. We were all on borrowed time. When I left and came back, we were already on the path to, to have a website.
Right.
It's actually CamusCognac.com. Camus, I think it's Camus-Cognac.com. But we had a U.S. website, and we also feature, just different retailers, places where you can get the product in your market, or in your neighborhood. So you can scroll down, put your zip code into the space, and then it'll show you all the retailers that carry the product around you.
Right.
But then we also acquired the opportunity to have our own tone with a U.S. Instagram page,
Right.
which is at Camus Cognac US. Because when you type in Camus Cognac, the French page is going to come up.
French page is going to pop.
Yes, but you got to type US at the end. So CamusCognacUS.com, and that will give you a really bird's eye view into what we have, going on, like the people that we encounter, some of the things that are not even available in the US. It's an aspirational page, so you'll see what we have to offer. You'll see the events that we do. We just did Carnegie Hall event last week, with Lou Tucker, the Power Network, Earn Your Leisure.
Jason was there.
Yeah, yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
So
he did like this. Jason did like
Yeah,
this.
he was
He was like, word up, I'm there.
Yeah,
Right.
so that was our second consecutive year. We
Right.
do the Power Awards. This will be our third year for doing the Power Awards. And last year they actually implemented a Power Him Award, and Charlemagne the God was the recipient of that. So it's creating those opportunities to sample, to create repetition, and continuity.
Right.
We're a luxury brand.
Right.
We don't want to get everyone drinking the product. That it's like we don't make minis.
Right. You're not trying to be Pepsi.
I don't want to bash Pepsi.
No, ain't nothing
Pat
bad.
likes Pepsi.
I love it.
Shout to Pat. Shout to Pat in the room.
Pat likes Pepsi. I can't bash Pepsi.
Right.
But I mean, we don't want to be, and not that we don't want to be, well, we don't need to be
Right.
living below the fray.
Right.
Just in order to get everyone. We want the people who can actually appreciate the product, who want the finer things in
Gotcha.
life.
So now I got a question for you. Say I'm a promoter, I'm a nonprofit, I'm a CBO, I'm trying to throw a function, I'm looking for sponsorship. What does Camus need to see in order to feel comfortable with partnering or sponsorship with any of those entities this summer? Because you and I spoke. Last summer was the prelude. This summer is going to be sick, right? I'm going to be there. Hip Hop Closet is going to be there, right?
I'll be there. Mom be there.
Right.
Mom be there.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, if there is someone watching right now that wants to throw a party, they're in that life like we are, and they're looking for sponsorship, and it may not be dollar amount, it could just be product. It could just be product placement. What is it that Camus needs to see to be connected with someone in that framework this summer?
Yes. So here's the thing. I get 40 proposals a day.
I'm sure.
A day.
That's why I asked you that shit.
I've been in this game a long time.
Yeah.
Kai, I've been in this game a long time. So people have followed me, and like I'm a check, like I'm a paycheck.
Right.
Not a paycheck. I feel like an Outcast song. Come on.
Some theme music.
But the thing is, it's that special, sweet spot that has if you're an event planner or an event promoter, and you have an audience of affluent African American, aspirational, women and men who really appreciate being a first or an early adopter. They appreciate, the art. This is beautiful. Like, this is a beautiful bottle. If you appreciate this and you appreciate the artistry behind it and the concept of putting in the work, you know, to get to the point where you're actually able to be a Melissa Sutherland Moss or Malik Roberts, who's from Brooklyn as well, who was our 2022 limited edition artist, or Nick Lowe, who was from Harlem, as I mentioned before, who was our first limited edition artist. If you have the work ethic and you're a part of a group of other people who are creatives and who appreciate, you know, the finest things, and you don't have a problem with paying, you know, $75 for a bottle of cognac or $350 for a bottle of cognac.
Right. Right.
Had to pose.
Yeah, we did the both. We got the both. Is it?
So, you know, I look at you. You know, I see what's going on, and then I see what your reach is. You know, I mean, me talking to a group of people that has, you know, 10 followers, you know, not so appealing, right?
Not so much.
Me paying attention to a group that has 100,000 followers, a little bit more appealing. But guess what? I don't just need 100,000 bots. I need 100,000 people that actually
have to be paying for them followers. Real talk. They have 100,000 followers and 10 likes on their shit.
10 likes. I need the engagements. I need people that actually respect you and your product and what you bring to the table. You know, that's why I work with the Power Awards. You know, to Nicole, shout out to Nakia McLean and her team. You know, I just work well with people that get it. You know, that actually have something to offer you, versus somebody that's like, oh, give me $1,500, and they haven't.
They don't have nothing.
They have nothing to prove. They have nothing to offer me.
Right.
You know, so, and I don't have huge budgets. Like, you know, I don't have. I mean, and no shade to any brand, but one brand that I was working on, they would spend upwards of $500,000 to be involved in a festival, and it's like, well, what's the real connection there? You know, what's the real connection?
So, but what I'm trying to get at is, I want people to understand what is how I'm trying to say it, what you're willing to give versus what you need, right? So it's like, yeah, I get it. You don't have major budget, but if X person had Y with regards to their crowd, their influence, what would be the thing that Camus would be interested in?
We'd be interested in the retention.
Right.
We'd be interested in the retention because ultimately we want to sell units, right? We want people to love the brand. You know, we strive for perfection at every step of the way. We're innovators. You know, this brand has been wine growers since the 1800s, since before, and has survived through all of these different, you know, the Prohibition, like all these things, the world, all these different, the Russian wars and all these things, and they've been resilient because they listen.
Right.
You know, they listen and they want to be ahead of the curve. Right. So they want to make sure that, okay, this happened, yes, but we can recover because we're connected to the person that's buying it and we understand them. They understand us. We understand how we can.
So it has to be symbiotic. It's not just give me 1,500 or give me 3 cases. It has to be a symbiotic relationship that exists. This is the last question before we go to the questions, Kai, and I ask all of my guests this because it's very important. Are you happy?
Yes, I'm probably the happiest that I've been in my entire life.
Why?
You know?
Why are you so goddamn happy?
It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so I'm happy because I work on an amazing brand. I have a solid network of girlfriends that just support everything that I do, even if they're not there physically. Because you know, we spoke about this. I do so many different things, and I've always been a people connector. So it's like even from earlier on, my friend, I would produce this thing called Friends and Battle of the Sexes with my friends, and you know, it would be every year one guaranteed time where all my friends can come together.
Right.
You know, because everybody's so busy. But then, you know, outside of my girlfriends network, and they're so strong and super supportive, and they're all like, you know, amazing women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got an equally yoked group of male friends, you know, who are business owners, entrepreneurs, like executives, C-suite level executives. And some are just, you know, guys that are just are very confident. They know what they're doing in life, you know. And, you know, I have a 24-year-old, what else? How old is he? He'll be 20. Oh, wow, we're in 24. He'll be 24 this year. My son, amazing human, Nigel, graduated from Howard University last year.
Hey,
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, you know she was going to do that.
I knew she was going to do that. Graduated, and to even, I learned this from one of my male friends when he was asking him, what do you want to major in school? And he said, marketing. It melted my heart.
Right.
That made me so happy.
Right.
I don't even think.
See his mom.
Yeah, because it's like, this is what you've been around. At the time I worked for Grand Marnier when he was like able to understand and articulate. So I even remember him riding around in my garage, like bumping into the boxes and saying Grand Marnier clearer than most adults. Right. You know, so I've got all those things, and those things make me happy. And then I'm in love. Like I have a relationship, like a whole relationship.
Shout to Pat over here, right? Yeah. Let me tell you about Pat, though. I've seen Pat for years, like 25 years, just in clubs, in the industry, around, like, always, dude is always where the cool shit is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, like, I have no doubt in my mind that this is a good union because, look at him. He's, you know what I mean? He's Pat. You know what I'm saying? It's a good dude. Yeah. So, that's dope. I said that was a question, but I got one more question. I do. Just one more question. Well, it's not really a question, it's a comment. What you talked about your son is important. Mm-hmm. Like the thing about what we have as a hip hop culture, like we come out of the Cosby Show, A Different World, we come out of Public Enemy, we come out of hip hop 2.0. Yep. Right? We're the second generation, not the Busy Bee and Grandmaster Caz generation, but we are the golden era generation of hip hop. The thing that we are is a family. And I see it in Kai's kids, and I see it in my kids, and I see, you know, now you're saying the same thing. Our children kind of vibe off of our passions. How important has it been for you, not just with your son, but with your entire community, to be proud and confident about the type of woman, and unapologetic about the type of woman you are in the industry? Because you're a woman at the end of the day, and we know that women are objectified in every industry. Yet you found a way to be a master at this work and to do this work and to kind of transcend that to be great. How important is it for you to be proud of the work that you've done and accomplished, right? Like, do you like wear it on your sleeve? Like, do you tell your son, like, listen, mom is the fucking truth, right? It's different, and the reason I'm saying that because I'm actually thinking about Kaisha, because Kaisha is different because the work that Kaisha does, her daughter can come sit in here and just absorb it all day. Kai doesn't have to tell Raina, yo, I'm great at this. Raina just absorbs it. Mm-hmm. But for you, it's a bit different. Do you announce that you're great? Like, do you wake up in the morning and be like, yo, I'm nice?
Only Pat.
Right, like, I'm nice. Nigga, I'm nice. He'd be like, yeah, good morning.
No, right.
But you know, I absolutely, first of all, you're great. You're a great interviewer. I love this. We could talk for like 5 more days. Yeah. But anyway, it's the most important thing for me to do great work. Yeah. That's the most important thing. Mm-hmm. I'm honorable. I do not overpromise. I do not fill you with lies. I do not tell you that I can do something if I can't. Mm-hmm. So it's super important for me to honor my word first and foremost. You know, I'm a God-fearing woman. I believe that everything that happens is a result of Him, and I believe that everything that I do reflects back on God and my mom. Like, those are the 2 most important people in my entire life, because I'm scared of my mom. I'm scared of my mom. You know, my mom ruled with an iron fist. So, but she got softer in her later years.
You probably take her now. You can probably take moms now.
I'll see her. I'll see her next week. Don't say that. But it's super important for me to set a great example.
Yeah.
You know, it's super important for me to set a great example for my son and for his friends. Like my son's friends follow me. They think I'm fun. You know, they think I'm cool. My son works at the park at 14th in Washington, D.C.
Oh, he works at the park.
Mm-hmm.
Lit. Your son is lit.
Yeah, he's lit.
Yeah.
So every week I get pictures of my friends going in there and they're like, I know who your mother is.
Right.
And so his peers are like, who is your mom? Like, who is your mama? You know?
Right.
So it was initially that, but now it's kind of like, okay, we understand that, you know, you paved the way for your son. You're super tied to being able to create those great experiences for him. And, you know, it just, everything else falls into place from that. So it's important for me to lead by example. It's important for me to be the connector. It's important for me to show my friends and invite my friends. I have friends that, you know, I do a lot of events. So most of them are Camus, Cognac, but some of them are outside, just connecting people, because I think it's all related, right? Like you can't just jump out at a brand like Camus and not have community, not have a following.
All of it is related.
All of this
is related.
Absolutely.
All of it is related.
Absolutely. Right. So the events that I do are always going to be like homecoming. You know, they're going to be reunions. So that's super important for me. It's super important for me to, you know, take the time out to talk to every one of my friends. Now, a lot of them, I got a lot of friends. So, and they're friends in real life. Like, they're friends before social media.
Right.
I don't care if they're following me or not. But when I see them, it's important for me to connect with them and to pick up where we left off. So, and it's important for me to be able to introduce products like this that no one has heard of before, bring them from obscurity into mainstream. Right. You know, because you can't just do that with not having any, you know, skin in the game. So it's important for me for everything in life to work together. God, family values, you know, friendship, being able to make friends, being able to retain friends, because some people can't do that. Some people are not friendly. Some people are not community driven. Some people just hate people.
They just hate people.
They hate people. And they you know, I've got a couple friends, they're like, oh no, I like dogs. Right. It's like, I like dogs, I don't like people. Right. I've decided I'm not going to talk to people. Or they
enjoy being negative about people.
Absolutely.
So they like people because they like to be negative about people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's important for me to be at the center. You know, my ecosystem is all those things, and everything needs to work together. And at the center of it is my job, because I love my house. Right. I love my car. Right. I love the clothes that I wear. Now? I live in Jersey.
In Jersey, okay.
I moved.
Okay.
So, you know, but I love the fact that I can leave New York at the end of an event and go home and drive into my garage. Go upstairs to my house and get to my room and relax.
It's nice.
You know, and it's a relaxing feeling to not feel like you owe anyone or you forgot to, you know, to say hi to someone and they took offense to it. Right. You know, so it's important for me to be a community, you know, person, a community builder, a people connector. It's important for me to never, you know, switch and never not have time for people. Right. You know, I have time for every single person if they need it. Right. But you got to tell me you need it, because I'm not a mind reader either. But I can sense when my friends are not right. And I can sense when it's time to work out and reach out to them too. So I think that that's what, you know, makes this whole thing work.
I think Black women are the most intuitive people on the planet. So I have no doubt in my mind that you can sense shit. Like, I'm not questioning that. I want to cheers to you, because we're making an announcement right now. I'm going to have Camus tickets all summer long. I'm gonna have Camus drink tickets. Wherever you see Marlon at, come get me for a Camus drink ticket. We're gonna be drinking Camus all summer. I appreciate this.
Yes.
Well, I got a
what's
great
my
thing
drink?
for you though.
Simply Camus. My Simply Camus.
Simply Camus.
all
Simply Camus.
summer.
What's this?
I want to present you
Oh, this is dope. Let me
with
see this.
our bottle.
Oh, this is great.
Melissa Sutherland Moss, Brooklyn-based artist.
This is amazing. Brian, I'm bringing it home, baby. I'm bringing it home. This is dope. I appreciate this.
Yeah, I want you to enjoy this at home
I
with
will.
your family.
I will. The bag, everything. I'm enjoying all
Yes.
of this. But I'm telling you, I need drink tickets all summer. I'm telling you, we need the drink tickets. We take you back to the 90s.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? What's the questions? What we looking
So
like?
there weren't any questions, just so much love. Like your girls were in the building, your people were here. So
Right.
yeah, just through the whole thing, it was really nice.
And
Thank you.
for me,
Yeah.
what I want to say is that we don't often celebrate the effect of powerful dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Dave Chappelle say this the other day. I was watching one of his specials, and he was like, the thing that I'm good at is I'm a powerful dreamer. And because I'm a powerful dreamer, I make shit happen that others can't happen. And he said, I've been in situations where I was in someone else's dream.
Yeah.
Like he mentioned, I forgot who the dude he was talking about, but basically, long story short, he was like, yo, I realized I was in his dream.
Little Nas X.
Lil Nas X, right? He was like, I was in his dream, right? And so what I feel in you and the energy that I'm getting from you and throughout this conversation is that you be in your dream.
Mm-hmm.
You are a powerful dreamer, and even if it's an intangible thing such as connecting, you realize the importance of that.
Absolutely.
And you act on the importance of that. And that is why you got the nice house in Jersey with the car and the garage and shit, because you were able to turn dreams into reality. And that has to be said. People need to understand that that's the process.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want if you dream it and
Absolutely.
you act on your dreams. And so I appreciate, I didn't know, none of this I knew about you before. We've been like acquaintances in passing this summer.
Yes.
We've never had this conversation until today. I've learned so much about you, and I respect your work and your accomplishments. This shit was
really
dope.
good.
And just send me the drink tickets. You can give me a little ticket. You know the tickets like for coat check? I just want Aria to give me like 100 of those coat check drink tickets. I'm going to just pass it around. We're going to move it up this summer.
Are you
Absolutely.
gonna vote on the
Right.
Oh, we do the sneakers.
Award?
Okay,
We do a
look. So we
sneaker
do sneaker voting. See, I came with these sixes and they kind of.
Ah.
I've been losing. They want to vote. So Kai got the Jordan ones. I love those. Those are nice. I think she wore them already. If you wore a pair of sneakers, you can't.
No.
Wow.
We got to go back to that. I think you wore those already.
I don't remember.
No,
that.
I think you
I don't
did.
remember
Okay,
that.
and then Jason
I
got
don't
the Derek
remember
Jeters or
Nah,
whatever
these
the
are
fuck they
these
are.
Kobe's. Don't disrespect the guy.
Shout to Kobe. And I got the Jordan sixes. Which one wins?
Yeah, the Dragon.
Alexander
All right,
McQueen.
Right, the McQueen.
Alexander McQueen wins every
Here we
day.
go. Here we go. Here we go.
There you
Yeah, I
go.
gotta put them up
Oh.
here. There we go.
Oh.
Pat, you got to choose,
Okay.
Pat.
Who
Which
wins?
one wins? I got
Who
the
wins?
Jordan sixes.
Let
He
me
got
go on
the
this one. Let me
Alex
go on this
Rodriguez. She got the Jordan ones. Who's winning?
one. And let's ask the people.
Jordans. Those are the
People-
mids.
Can't go wrong with Kobe, man.
Oh, this
Thank
man
you.
wins every win.
Appreciate it.
I
That's
am
what's
going
up.
for yours,
What's
guys.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
it's a
Thank
tie.
They're cute,
It's a
and they're
tie.
silver, and I like
Right,
silver, and I like
yes.
sneakers that are silver. Yeah.
Okay, you
I
guys.
do
Okay,
like those.
McQueen's all day. Oops.
I do
Yeah,
like
McQueen's all day though.
This was fun, and I
Yes.
appreciate everybody who rocked with us. It's now almost 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go from here to Le Chai restaurant in Brooklyn. New restaurant, brand new.
Food is amazing.
I've seen the advertisements about this. Like
Yes.
people been posting on IG. So
Yes.
you going there tonight?
I have an account visit there tonight, owned by Dave Thomas, who
Dave Thomas. Shout to
who is
Dave.
co-owner of the Brooklyn Shop House
Exactly.
and
Shout to Dave.
Brooklyn Dumpling Shop as well.
Mhm.
And he just opened this restaurant in at 1904 Utica Avenue. Shameless plug. And it's Utica Avenue and Flatlands
Yeah,
in Brooklyn.
yeah, yeah.
So, but the food is incredible.
Yeah,
Is it?
food was
The
amazing.
Food is
You went there
incredible.
already?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went to the.
Oh, I need
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a
Go
song.
yet.
I did a song. Come on, come with me now.
I can't. I got stuff to do.
I mean, I
Okay.
could.
Well, you know what?
probably
You got an
go.
invitation to
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
I mean, I could
Okay.
go.
Look, I said I could go.
That's where we going.
UG said very awesome and educational marketing interview. Bless up Kai, Deuce, Aria, and Pat. 475 had incredible people.
Yeah, Melrose Place was
UG.
lit back in the day.
What was that?
UG. You know
UG.
UG?
I don't know UG.
Love
Yeah, Eugene
Eugene
love
love
it.
it.
Yeah, he's one of us. He's one of us.
Yeah. Eugene was at
He's
everything.
out in New Orleans
Yeah.
now. I gotta hit him back. He texted me the other day. I gotta hit him back. Shout out to Eugene.
Eugene's good
I'll be
people.
at-
He
I'll be at
looking out
Tales of
for
the Cocktail in
I've
July.
known you for a long time.
For Eugene.
Yeah. Pat knows Eugene.
Eugene, hit me up. My Instagram, my new Instagram, since somebody
What
decided
happened?
I
to.
can't
What
even
happened?
believe that.
What happened?
I am a part. Well, so as a part of my job, I have to, have a purview of e-commerce. So e-commerce, social media, PR, and I think I was telling the story before. I didn't finish, but this last year in 2023 was our first year of bringing on our PR team, a dedicated PR team, Anemia Management, and then our social media team, which is led by Eric Thomas, who also owns the Quintessential Gentleman magazine. And then, our e-commerce, it was in-house. So we had someone managing that. And I inherited all of his emails. So I clicked on a link.
That's what happened. You clicked on a motherfucking link.
Yeah. So I don't know. Next thing I know, some dude was texting me on WhatsApp saying, "Hey, is this your page?" Screenshot of my page, and I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "It's mine now. If you want it back, it'll be 750 euros."
We gotta find that nigga back. We gotta find that nigga. We can't let this shit slide.
Moral of the story is don't click on anything.
Right, you can't
Don't click on anything. That's exactly why AJ's hesitation with accepting my DM. And so many others, but yeah, it was just a mess. So I basically started over.
Damn.
But my new Instagram page is the real Aria F Wright. Don't ask me what the F stands for.
Fun.
Yeah, they could.
Right, we can make it up. All right.
All right.
We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We will see you next Tuesday. I never even talked about the fact that we took last week off. Thank you again for rocking with us. I know we took Valentine's Day off. Jay had a hot date. Kai got a whole husband. I was doing my thing too.
Wait. We are having an event this weekend.
Yes.
We're having a big event
yes.
this weekend. Go to the page and look it up.
You ain't gonna tell them about it?
No, we're having a shopping experience. And we're moving it out of the suite. It's gonna be in a new location, really fly location. We have a ton of fun stuff planned. We have Tech from Smith & Wesson. He's coming through. We have Michelle Buteau from
Look at me. I don't know what it is.
from what's the show? Oh, Survival of the Thickest. Yes, Survival of the Thickest, and a bunch of other things. We have a film screening, but all of the information is on our IG. So check it out.
I'm working this weekend.
Yes.
Which
you're
day?
always
Saturday.
working.
Sunday.
Saturday.
Saturday. All right. So rock with us.
Yes.
And shout
Please,
to Maroon
RSVP.
Sausage. I tried to get in touch with y'all, Maroon Sausage. If you're
Oh,
watching
yeah,
this,
Maroon Sausage.
I tried to holler at them. They hit me back. If you see this, go to your DM, holler back at us. We trying to get you for Saturday, man. It's all love. We love
Trying to
y'all.
get
We
that
love our
sausage for
culture. We love
Saturday.
our community. Jay, what's up? You got something to say?
I'm trying to get that sausage for Saturday, huh?
Pause.
Hey, yo.
Hey,
yo.
Relax, Jay. You know what I mean?
That's
Listen,
crazy.
when I asked Marlon, I was like, "Who was giving out the sausages at the last block party?" He was like, "Pause." wait."
Don't talk to me like that.
Yeah,
Don't talk to me like that. Yo, we love y'all. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Later.
One love.